let's add a custom command to Minecraft that will help us find our ore after generation, and it is a really good command to have in every mod that you have ore generation. Hello everyone, this is Ali Reza. Welcome to the Mentor Code Lab. In previous episodes, we developed our own ore generation, but as I said in that video, we didn't go inside the world looking for these ores because it was hard and it didn't really show what would be there, just going into the observer mode and move through the caves really don't show you the distribution of your ore inside world. In this video, we will create a command that will clear the world for you in such a way that you can easily see your ore distribution inside a single chunk. However, before we start coding, there is something that I noticed. If I go inside mod registries, we have this section, private static void register commands, and it pretty much tells registering commands. However, we have this mod commands class, and it says registering commands. They are doing the same stuff. So I will remove this one inside the mod registries, and I will keep the one inside the mod commands. And of course, I have to remove this part. Now, why did I remove it from mod registries? Because commands sometimes become big, and today is one of them. Although the command itself is simple to understand, however, the code section is more than a few lines, so keeping it inside its own class is beneficial. Okay, when we want to register a command, we can't put something static final on top the way we had done for mod blocks. We have to cover it inside the register method. Now, the way to do it is starting by putting your command. So we say command registration callback dot event dot register command manager from net Minecraft server command. Now, as you may see or may not see actually, because I made the color in such a way that you can't see the hint, it says listener column. So it asks for a listener. Now for the listener, we start with a parenthesis and I will put another parenthesis in it. Here I say dispatcher, and you see that it just goes with the IntelliSense and types dispatcher registry access environment. Now, if you don't have this hint in IntelliSense, make sure that in your settings, you have the IntelliSense setting exactly as I have. Come into the settings, the editor general code completion. You see this match cases first letter only. Make sure that it's on first letter and it's check mark. Basic completion, type matching completion, sort suggested alphabetically as you type, and documentation pop-up. These are not important anymore. The most important one is this match case and first letter only, and that will help you to have this thing exactly as you are typing it. Okay, finally, then we have our lambda. We can start a curly brace. Now, this is a listener that is anonymous. So you could have a method and you could call a method, stuff like that. But here we can say dispatcher dot register. And as you see, it says literal argument builder server command source command. So we say command manager from net Minecraft server command dot literal means that it's not translatable. It's just exactly what we call. And this is the text of your command in the game, DCLR. So dev clear, basically. That's what I want. And after the first parenthesis, we say dot executes. Here we say context, and context goes into another curly brace. Here at the end of these two parentheses, put a semicolon. And let me see, I need another parenthesis here, basically, and remove one parenthesis here. So that's curly brace, three parentheses, semicolon, another curly brace, two parentheses, another semicolon, and curly brace. That's it. However, we have some problems. You see, I move my mouse on the curly brace and I wait. It says add a return statement. Here we say simply return 1, anything, any number. And that would work. At the end of this first semicolon, you should go all the way to this dispatcher dot register, and that's it. So for time being, it's 2 parentheses, okay? And then here you should finish every parenthesis. So I'm lacking one. I will put it there, and that's it. So one more time, at the end of this semicolon, you should close the parenthesis for dispatcher.register. At the end of this semicolon, you should close the parenthesis for this event.register. So the number of parentheses may change, but this is how you can identify them. And I always have a habit of putting the curly braces on top of each other. So this section under executes and before the return is exactly where the logic of your command will happen. If I would want to, I could just, put a log here and say command run and then run the game, and you would see that when I type dclr, you will get the output of command run inside the log on the IntelliJ. However, we want to go deeper. Where is the fun in just logging something, huh? If you ever tried something in Minecraft that has options and commands, for example, game mode space, you get few different command options like creative or survival. Here we want to add those suggestions for ourselves. Now for suggestions, we have to do things. After the literal, we say dot then, and as you see, it has an argument builder or command node. Now the thing is that at this point, you can do two different things. The very first one is that you can chain commands into each other. You can branch and make command after command. And the first option that says command node is talking about that option. However, the second branch, the second possibility is that you can add arguments for the first command. And this is what we want to do. And this is exactly where we need to add our argument. So I will put a parenthesis here. However, I will remove this parenthesis that is closing it, coming all the way down, and after the very first semicolon, I will add it there. Now, inside then, we say command manager dot argument, and this is a string. Now, the name should be unique, but it's internal, so you don't need to reference it anywhere else. You just need to have this command name inside your code. So we say clear underline operation underline type. So we want a clear type. And then we have to tell the system what type of argument it is. So string argument type dot string, and that's it. So up until now, we added our command, we added an argument, and we can access that argument here. So we can say string type. So I will say typ. I will remove the e because type is a keyword. String argument type dot get a string and from context. Now here the context basically is the whole thing that you had typed inside the chat, the command, the arguments, everything else. That's the context. And we want this argument from the context. That's the type. Now we can say if objects from Java util dot equals to nothing. So typ with nothing. Basically, we are asking if the argument is empty, we say typ equals to all. And after that, we can continue with our logic. However, before I dive into the logic, because that's lots of code there, we can give options to the user of our mod. So instead of typing the all or any other word as argument, we can give them the option so that they can just move up and down and choose the option or actually see what they are typing. To give the choices, we need to come after this line. Then, before the execute, and put a dot and say suggests. Now, here we are telling that we want to give new suggestions to this argument. And we can say new something. This something is not presented yet. Dev clean suggestion provider. Now this is a class and we need to add this class ourselves. Inside our folders, I have this command folder. Inside here, we need to add new Java class, and that is the dev clean suggestion provider. Now dev clean suggestion provider implements an interface, and that is suggestion provider. And you see that we have two options. One is providers from net Minecraft command. Other one has a generic type of S. That's the one we want because we need to define that this is a server command source. Now hit Alt Enter, implement methods, get suggestions. For get suggestions, we say builder dot suggest. And you can see that we can suggest integer values or strings. We want the string one. We say or and then dot suggest. We add another suggestion block dot suggest. The third suggestion would be fluid, and finally the last suggestion will be all semicolon. And here we return builder dot build future. And that's exactly what we want. You see that at the end of the method name, it throws a command syntax exception. It means that if the syntax of the command is wrong, you will get a message inside Minecraft that, hey, the syntax is wrong. However, if I come back here, now it is getting imported and everything is okay. Finally, the face of our command is finished. We have a command called dclr. It has 4 different suggestions or block, fluid, and all. And it presents those suggestions to the player. And we can retrieve the suggestion that the player had chosen. And we can simply compare it to any text or manipulate it however we want. Now, this is where the fun begins. Up until now, you just defined your command. Now, here is the thing. What should the command do? What is the logic? Of course, we can say log.blah, but where's the fun in that? As I said, we want to make use of this command and find the distribution of ores inside a chunk. Now, the way we want to do that is to remove every block and put air except some special blocks, basically making a very big hole inside the world in a chunk. Digging down, removing every stone, everything else, and basically we will have 3 different lists. One is the blocks that should be cleared, one is the valuable blocks that should remain, and one is some special blocks that we should take a look at them and replace them with stone or air under different conditions. So I will add these 3 lists on top of the class itself. So here, don't worry, this is just a time-consuming list definition of some words. Basically, I had went into Minecraft and choose block after block, finding their names inside vanilla blocks class and putting them here. So basically, for example, I'm saying if I found oak log or spruce log, or I don't know, granite or oak fence, bamboo fence gate, whatever, you can pause the video and type them if you want and put them inside 3 different lists. The top list, the block clear list, is what I want to remove and completely delete. The middle one, the ore clear list, is the ore that I want to keep inside the world. And finally, the fluid one, of course, kelp and kelp plant is not fluid, but basically when I'm looking for the clear fluid type, I'm going to remove these blocks. Okay, now that we have the lists, we can use them. First things first, we say if not objects dot equals the typ comma or after the first parenthesis we say and. I will copy this and paste it and basically make sure that doesn't have e or block fluid and it's not all. Basically we are checking if our argument is none of these, we want to do something special. We say context dot get source. Get source returns the S type. Remember, this is the generic type that we defined inside our own suggestion provider, and that is server command source. So here we are getting that server command source. After that, we want to send a feedback to the source. Basically, we are returning some feedback to that server command. And the feedback is an anonymous lambda, and we say text.literal. Now, instead of literal, you can use translatable, but I will go with this wrong type, comma. It should be one of the choices or block fluid all. After the first parenthesis, that is the text, put a comma, and this one it says, do you want to broadcast this feedback to the OPs, meaning the moderators of the server? Well, no, just want to inform the player himself. Now, if you want to, of course, you can use translation. And instead of text.literal, I can say translate from reference, and I need to put a key. The key, if we want to look at the translate, we see that it says mod ID dot key, so I don't need to put the mod ID and the dot. And this one will be DCLR dot error. Now we can come back inside the en.json translation file, and at the end put a comma, duplicate, and this is uio dot dclr dot error, and I will just paste my message here. So this way we are making it translatable basically. If we get here, we put an else. Inside this else, we are sure that we are using one of these conditions. So what is the list of the blocks that we should look for inside our command? Blocks equals. We say objects that equals to typ comma. If it's or, basically we are making a ternary here. If it's or, then we say array utils dot add all or clear list. Basically, we are saying that if we are using the or option, we want to remove the or. Otherwise, we are checking if instead of or, we are looking for block. If that's the case, we say array utils dot add all, and this time block clear list. Otherwise, we are checking that if we are using the fluid option. If that's the case, we say array utils dot add all typ, and here I forgot the typ, comma, fluid block list. Last option is basically all. And do I need to check if it's all? Basically, no, because on top we checked if we are one of these four conditions. We checked the three. So the last one is, sorry, I got some errors because I didn't meet type here. That was my bad. Okay, so the last one is basically the all. So we say array utils dot add all. Here we say block clear list, comma, or clear list. So basically we are saying to clear the blocks, ors, and fluid. But unfortunately, I can't add fluids, so I will keep just array 1, array 2. And that's it, basically. When we get here, we have a list of blocks. However, I will do something that makes no sense. I'm checking the length. I will say if the length equals to 0, return 1. Wait a minute. We have elements in every list. One way or another, we are at least adding one of these lists to the block. So why do I check the length of the block? This is called sanity check. Although right now my code has every possible block and all lists contain some elements, I'm not sure, maybe in future, for example, I forget about everything and come and delete this section. It can happen. 2 years later, 5 years later, I may forget what was the purpose of this. And I may think like, okay, this is not usable. Let's delete the elements and keep the list empty. And that is when this thing will prevent the game from crashing. Although sometimes you may want to let the game crash to find errors, but in this case, doing a sanity check is not a bad idea here. Finally, we want to find the player. So player entity, we call it player, equals to. Now, how can I find the player from the context? Basically, I go to get the source, that's the server source, and then we know who sent the message, and that's the player. Now, another sanity check. If player does not equal to null, here's a question. Can the player be null? Yes, in case of command blocks send command, but the player is null. Basically, up until now, we found which blocks we want to delete. We found the player, so we can fetch the player's location. And we made sure that the command is in correct syntax. So now we can start the logic. We say Minecraft server equals to player.get server. This way we are sure that we are on server side. Block pose position equals to player.get block pose. This is the position of the player. Int min x equals to position dot get x minus, now here's a hard-coded number, 32. When I do hard-coded numbers, I like to have private final clear command distance, something that holds that number, and this is integer. Why? Because now I can just use that, and whenever, what's the wrong thing? It should be static, public, private static, actually final, and let's make it capital, clear command distance. This way, whenever I'm tweaking the code later in future, for example, I may want to make a decision that, hey, you know what, 32 blocks is a small gap, let's make it bigger. Now, if this code is long, and you will see it will become long, I have to come back and find where I was putting that hard-coded number. However, this way, having it on top, I know that, hey, just tweak this number, everything will work. Okay, so that was minimum x, and we have maximum x, and that is position get x plus. I will copy these two. I will paste it. So this is minimum z and maximum z. Basically, get x becomes get z, and plus and minus is relatively same. Okay, after defining the minimum and maximum distance from player on 2 dimensions, now we can find the command manager, and we call it command manager equals objects dot require non-null server. This means that, hey, make sure that the server is not null. Get command manager from server. After that, we say server command source, and we call it command source equals to the server that we found dot get command source. Okay. Now you may say, hey, didn't we have the context? Yes, but doing it this way, we made sure that we are on the server side for the command manager, and we are retrieving the server command source on the server side. Basically, we are safe now. So we say context dot get source send feedback, another anonymous lambda, and translate. Here is the key. We say dclr dot start, and finally false because we don't want to inform anyone else. We add it inside the translatables. So uio dot dclr dot start, and this one we are saying starting to clean. Another message that we send, this is a good thing because sometimes some commands like the one that we are starting takes time. So the player is informed that, hey, we are starting your process. Don't worry if you don't see anything immediately. String cmd equals to nothing. What I'm gonna do is to do a loop, and inside a loop, I will make commands and run those commands inside Minecraft. Basically, I could loop and replace blocks myself, one block at a time, and that would be a proper logic. However, doing it this way, I'm just creating a command and sending the command to the server, And that way, we are sure that bunch of blocks gets replaced at the same time. Basically, it's optimized and makes the thing done faster. Also, it shows you a possibility that inside your custom command, you can run other commands. Okay, so that CMD is the command that I will generate and run for string block inside fluid block list. I'm going for a for loop here, and that for loop is just for fluids. Another loop for int L equals to 144, comma, L is greater or equal minus 63, comma, L minus equals 8. What does that mean? It's a reverse for loop. Basically, I start at level 144 in the world, and I will generate and run a command that will replace 8 levels, and then I will move down 8 levels and run the command again until I get to the bottom of the world. Basically, I'm making sure that I will cover every level, but at the same time, I'm jumping 8 levels below because each command will cover 8 levels for me. And this is the second loop. However, in this loop, now I will have another loop for string block inside blocks this time. And I will do things. And that's it basically. This is the whole thing. However, we will start with the top one because if we understand the top one, the bottom one will be more understandable. First, we say CMD equals to parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis, I will start with forward slash fill space. This is a vanilla command. Fill from min x plus. The second one is the level for the height. So space minus 64 space plus. The third one is the min z plus. We put an empty space plus. Now here's the trick. Min x plus space 128 space plus max z plus. And here is space Minecraft colon obsidian. Make sure that you correctly type everything here. Space replace space Minecraft colon plus block. Wait a minute. What does it mean? If I just try to translate it to what you type inside chat, it will be something like this. You will say fill space, and here we say tilde minus 32, minus 64, tilde 32, and again tilde minus 32, 128, and tilde 32. This one is tilde minus 32. And then Minecraft Obsidian replace Minecraft, for example, water. That's the command. Basically, we are saying that, hey, from the player's position, move 32 blocks to the minus direction, 64 blocks down, and 32 blocks on minus z direction. That's the start point. Then move 32 blocks on the positive side from the player position, minus 32, 32. This is 64 blocks gap, but only on the z direction. And then from minus 64 up to 128 in the world on the vertical direction, we have a wall, don't we? Let's show you the wall. So here's what we have. This will be the wall. This one is x minus 32. Remember, from the position of the player, and the player, let's say that he is here. Z equals to from player's position minus 32, but the y is a hard-coded number, minus 64. Then we go all the way to here. This one is x equals to whatever the position of player is, still minus 32, but the z and y is changed. The y is now 128, and the z is 32 blocks away from player. So basically, this is the z direction, this is the y direction, and this is a plane that is cutting from the x direction. So that's why we see minus x and minus x. Of course, I could tell you that, hey, go and try and you will figure it by try and error. But honestly, if you get used to these things, then you know that you are creating a rectangle on the x cut from minus z to positive z, minus y to positive y. And basically, we are replacing water, lava, or anything else with obsidian. Okay, now we want to execute this command. So we say command manager dot execute with prefix the command source and the command. What we are saying that, hey, command manager, please find this source that is the server command source and execute this command on the server side safely. And we don't need to check the server side, basically. Now, here's the fun part. If I leave the command as it is and run the command, you'll never see the result. For some reason, Minecraft needs to sleep on the thread at least for 5 milliseconds. Make it 4 milliseconds, it won't work. Don't ask me why. This is the one of those few cases that I say it is what it is. Minecraft needs 5 milliseconds of stop to process this command and then move forward on your logic. Again, you can simply say thread from Java dot sleep, and you see that it says millis, that's millisecond. So 5 millisecond, basically you know that each second is 1000 milliseconds, and 5 milliseconds is really nothing, but it should sit there. Now, each try, as you see, has an error because it needs a catch. And inside catch, we say interrupt exception ignored and put a curly braces here, open and close. Basically, we are saying, hey, ignore the catch. We don't care about that. Now, if I run the whole command inside game now, you will see a wall of obsidian inside ocean if I'm standing in the ocean. However, this is one wall of the 4 walls around the player. Basically, if we are looking from top down, and this is the player standing in the ocean, we want to put 4 walls around the border all the way from 128 to 64. So basically, if we are looking at 3D, it will be something like this. Now we are digging down vertically, putting a wall of obsidian all around the player if the block is water, lava, kelp, or kelp plants. Basically, if it's one of these 4, we are replacing it with obsidian. Why we are doing it? Because if I dig down and empty the chunk and I don't put this border around the perimeter, these things can, especially the water and lava, can flow downward inside the empty chunk. And I want to prevent it because I want to make a perimeter so that you can cleanly see the distribution. This first command can be copy pasted, but be careful because from now on, using that min and max is critical. So the second one starts from min x and min z, but here it becomes max x and min z. So basically the same deal like the top one, we have 2 min z's and we are moving from min to max x. Paste it again. The third one starts from min x, but here max z to max x and max z. Basically, now we are on the opposite side of the previous one. Previous one was on min z. Here we are on the opposite side on max z. And finally, the last one, if you take a look, should be the opposite of this one. So just copy paste and it should remain on min z, but from max x to max x and from min z to max z. As I said, these 4 walls are in front of each other 2 by 2. That is it. So let's check it inside the game, make sure that everything is working right now, and then move for the next command section because it's few lines actually, but understanding it is a little bit important. It's not that complicated. If you understood what I'm doing in this section, then you will understand the next command here. Basically, it's a good habit to stop, especially when you are sure that the four walls should work properly. The first one, yes, you may want to try it the very first time to make sure that the command is correct. And then, if you are familiar with making rectangles in 3D, then you should be able to just sit down and write the whole four sections of the command and make sure that it's finished. And then, yes, you can run the game and see if you made it properly. Now, before I move forward, I should remind you that I have a donation system based on cryptocurrency. So if you want to donate something, there is a link in the description and you can donate any type of crypto that you like. Finally, the game is up. Now, you may not notice it, but between the stop of the coding and running the game, nearly an hour passed. I updated my Minecraft to 1.21.1, and I want to talk about it before diving into the game. I will keep it for another video. Again, it's not one of those let's update Fabric version because there's not much in it, but we will talk about something really important. And the question will be when to update and when to stop doing it. That's a topic for another video. However, let's start by trying a new world. And remember, we are trying a command, so a flat world is not a good one. So difficulty peaceful, it's creative, allow commands on, and the word is the default type, so create new. And here we can take a look at our code side by side Minecraft now. Okay, so far we only added a piece of code to clear a border around ourselves only if we are in somewhere with water around us. Okay, so this looks like a good place, but I would prefer a bigger ocean type of water if we have one. Come on. When you don't want an ocean, the whole world is oceans. When you want something, it's not there. Okay, let's say it's there. Remember, our command is DCLR and it's showing up. If I hit space, now I get the four recommendations. It's no big deal, is it? So we have all block fluid or, and it doesn't matter. Let's say that we want all. Hit enter, and you see that we get, first of all, a message says starting to clean, and then we have some chat messages. Successfully filled block blocks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if we take a look around ourselves, this is a complete wall of obsidian going from another higher level all the way to the bedrock. However, it's just replacing water with obsidian. And if we had lava down below somewhere, it will replace it with obsidian. This will create a perimeter for us so that when we clean this whole section below ourselves, then the water won't flow in and produce flowing water and make trouble for us. So let's close it. And finally, we know that our first four commands are working. And as you saw, we had four walls that goes on one direction and two on each section in front of each other. Finally, it's time for the last piece of code. Thankfully, that's not so hard. It's a little bit of magic. So we say command cmd equals to, I will put the whole command with some placeholders. So I will say fill pipe between the pipes min x space pipe l lowercase l space pipe min z space pipe max x space pipe m space pipe max z pipe Minecraft air space replace space Minecraft and at the end plus block. Now, what we are doing is we are replacing a minimum x, minimum z, and maximum numbers with a minimum level and maximum level, then we will replace our block type with air. Now we can just, before the semicolon, hit enter and say replace. That's a string manipulation thing. So we want to replace the pipe lowercase l with string dot value of the L. And remember, L is the for loop. Again, before the semicolon, we say dot replace. We want to replace the lowercase m with string dot value of L minus 7. This minus 7, it means that, hey, go 7 layers below the current layer. And that's the minimum layer. So we are going from maximum to a minimum. In this case, 7 lower than 63 means minus 70. Normally, that would be below bedrock, but that's okay because we want to make sure that we are covering everything. And below bedrock is basically void, so we don't care. Again, dot replace. Now, this time, pipe min x with string dot value of. Now, here is the thing. Position dot get x minus. The funny thing is that I want this, but I have already cached it as min x. However, I want to add 1 to it. So it will become minus 31 because the 32nd one maybe is the obsidian. So I'm just moving 1 inside from all directions. I will copy this one, paste it, and I will say max x equals to plus max. Actually, this whole thing is min x, and this is max x, but now I will remove 1, and I will paste min z, that would be minimum z plus 1, and finally max z, and that would be max z minus 1. So that is our command. Basically, we have the same command, we just replace the numbers with a calculated number. Finally, we want to have the same thing from here up to here. So we are executing the command, we are sleeping for 5 milliseconds, catching the exception, and that's it. Believe it or not, that's it. However, remember, this is a big loop because we are looping for, I don't know how many, it's close to 207 divided by 8, near 30 levels. So this is 30 loops. And then based on the number of blocks we have an internal loop. So these two loops may run for thousands of times. However, they are fast. We will take a look at the result. Finally, that is when we can finally figure out the distribution of our ore inside the world. And remember, it doesn't matter which world we are in, we are catching the world itself. So we are catching the server and we are running the command on the server. So in which world we are running the command, it will happen exactly in that world. And that's the beauty of this way of running the command inside another command. Basically, we are just making sure that Minecraft is handling the server client side. We are making sure that Minecraft is handling the world. If it's in Nether, if it's the end, if it's overworld, we don't care. We just run a command and the rest is being done by Minecraft. Now, let's go somewhere else. This looks like a good spot. Now, I think I forgot mushrooms. We will see. So we say DCLR space all. What? And you see that I forgot to hit the tab. So I got that error about arguments exception. Now here's the thing. I can move around. The word is working, but in the background, Minecraft is running lots and lots of commands. And that is why I showed that message to the player so that the player knows to, hey, just wait for it. It's going down. It will go down, down, down. And suddenly this whole section will be empty. Just wait until this successfully filled is finished. And there we go. Yeah, I forgot the mushrooms and I forgot whatever it is. It's rubber law. Rubber? Oh, it comes from Tech Reborn. Okay, this is the OR distribution. Now, unfortunately, I have Tech Reborn installed as a playable mod, and that will conflict with emptying this space. So thin OR, if there was no Tech Reborn, it wouldn't be there. But take a look. This is my Ruby and Sapphire, and again, these are Sapphire and Ruby, and I don't see any citrine on this level. It shouldn't be there actually. So we go deeper. This is not ours. This is oil, I think. Yes, from Tech Reborn. This is from Tech Reborn. So again, I don't see any citrine on these levels, and I wouldn't expect it on that level anyhow. But here we go. This is the gold ore. Okay, so where is citrine? I don't see citrine. And this is why we will try to actually find the ore distribution. And by the way, although I used the command to cover the lava, and you see this obsidian is being generated, because lava is moving and it can redistribute itself, it shows up. Now, let's take a look. Let's go and clear another section and see if citrine is still not showing up. This looks like a good space. So DCLR all. And we wait. As we are waiting, I ask you to please tell your friends about this channel and help me grow the community around this YouTube channel. And if you like to donate, don't forget about cryptocurrency donation. Okay, now that we are cleaned, okay, I seriously don't see any citrines. I seriously don't see any citrines. Now, this means one of the two things. Either I forgot and put citrine on here and it's being deleted, or for some reason, my redistribution of citrine is wrong. And this takes us to the topic of the next video. How can we debug our program when we are modding for Minecraft? So let's stop the video here and say goodbye to each other and come back to the next video and see what was the problem and how we can find the problems for Minecraft modding. If you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on that bell so that when I publish a new video, you will get informed. Have fun, everyone. Bye.